Hello, it's Simon here from the Supertone Studio in Portugal.
Hola!
We are recording some live stuff for the Starlite Campbell Band. It's a track that we're going to put out over the next few days. And we're doing it live, and we're experimenting at the moment with all this sort of stuff. We're very fortunate to have our own studio here. We've got a beautiful Kadak console and all our outboard here and stuff.
Lava lamp.
Yeah, the lava lamp,
and
most
your
importantly.
dad.
And my dad, very important, who's overseeing proceedings, telling me what an idiot I am most of the time. That's what he always used to say to me. Simon, you are a bloody idiot. That's what he said. So nothing's changed. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you a bit of a run through about what we're doing. So because we don't have a drummer here, of course, we're using our magnificent Tempest drum machine here, which is, it's all right.
It's complicated.
It's a fiendishly complicated device, but I do like it because it
sounds amazing.
It's it sounds incredible, yeah, and it's step program, which I like because that's how I used to program stuff in the 80s when it all started. Right? And also we're using a Moog Minotaur, which is an analog bass synth. Because on this particular track, Susie, my good lady, is singing. She's not actually playing bass. And we're doing bass on foot pedals, and I'm doing it. So I'm like bloody Nijinsky over here, as you'll see in a moment.
Very good fun.
Although I'll explain some problems. So so we've got the track up on Pro Tools. The screen's gone dark at the moment because the thing's come on. So let me just take you a run round. We're not using these; it's just that they're here at the moment. So the first thing we're using on the guitars is the Leslie, and now bearing in mind, I do play very loud, and everything is loud because I play really gently with a very loud volume on the amp, so it gives you a lot of, when you need it, thrust. Plenty of thrust in there, but I just breathe on the strings and let the amps do the rest.
I love this machine. It's incredible, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's rotating furiously. I mean, it's called a valve version, and this is not. Look
at that! That just is amazing.
Yeah, this is valves instead, not tubes, because tubes are American and valves British. So these are valves, even though it's an American device. So, in case you want to know what it is, because you might not. It's the very old-fashioned way of actually creating like a vibrato or whirly sound. And you've heard them on countless records, these things. But what happens is that you've got a bass speaker pointing down and then this rotating baffle that makes the sound go woo, 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 woo on the bass.
Yeah.
And at the top here, you've got this horn that rotates that actually has a horn going into it. The treble whirls round and it gives you this effect. And at the moment, it's very slow. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to speed it up. So when you speed it up, you will see it starts to whirl up. So it whirls like a monster.
That's amazing,
and then
isn't it?
You turn it back down here, and it slows down.
I love that.
So it's an old way of actually creating this. It's not really a phasing sound. It's more of it's based on the Doppler effect. So it actually changes the pitch slightly and it sort of wobbles like this. And because you've got two sides of it, we're miking it in stereo and we're miking it with good old SM57s. Can't beat them for this application. Absolutely great. I might have used something else, but what you don't want to do in a live situation, especially when I play so fucking loud, is have anything that is too sensitive.
Yeah.
You've got to have something that is pretty directional that picks up just what you want it to.
Exactly.
So we got the only real sensitive mic we've got here is this U47 FET vintage one, which is on the bass, but we can actually get rid of anything in there, any spillage in there, really, because there's not an awful lot that's going to get in there from the treble. So, okay, so that was a bit rambly, but it's okay, don't worry about it. I think you know what I mean. So onto my pedal board, which indeed it looks extensive, but the only thing I'm using at the moment is this, which is basically the compressor, and I'm using it And the reason I'm using it is two things. Firstly, I need to roll some of the bass off because I'm using this baritone guitar, which has enormous amounts of bass. And with the Leslie and that bass speaker at the bottom,
Yeah.
it's a massive amount of bottom end. So I use it to roll it off, and also to add some compression. She's stolen my thunder.
Sorry, darling.
So, anyway, let's go. So we've got basically this. The only effect in the chain is this and the volume pedal. Then it goes into the mighty 1974 Echo Plex, which is a tape Echo machine, vintage. There we are.
Echo Plex.
So that is the tape Echo machine. It goes into there, and then into the amps. And how I've set it up for this particular recording, and it looks a bit over the top, but I've got this Gemino here, which is the Club 40, fantastic amplifier, and this is going into this Supertone 2x12, which is, I've got to say, I know it's our brand, and you would say this, but if anybody knows me, you will know I never play through crap. Right, and we've had these specially designed and they sound fantastic. Celestion speakers, everybody uses Celestion speakers, but there's something about these cabinets that sounds wonderful. I don't know whether it's the basket weave on the front that just changes and diffuses the sound a little bit, but it really does. And this is an open back version.
Yeah.
It's got two 25 watt G12M greenbacks in it, and it's just remarkable. Build quality is fantastic, it just sounds great. But again, SM57s on here.
Yeah.
This is the 4x12 version of it, and I'm using the second amp here, the second Gemino, to run into this, and this just for the echo return. So, as I say, it seems a bit over the top, but the cabinets are sat there, so I might as well use them. So, the echo return is going through there, so just the echo, and the main direct dry signal is coming through there. Okay, so, what else have we got? Now, the bass pedals that my good lady...
No, you didn't really hear it. You didn't really hear it.
She did.
No, I didn't.
Anyway, well, they're going to the studio
much.
monitor at the moment, so you really can't hear the magnificence of them, but you'll hear it on the recording. But these are triggering the Moog. The problem that I've had when I was playing this live is that my shoes are too wide. Now, as you can see here, you've got to be very careful unless you're playing right there. Otherwise, you can hit two at the same time.
Yeah.
Which does cause trouble. Anyway, so we got that. So I was playing in my socks, as you'll see later on. Monitoring. Now, because we're doing this live, of course, we need the drums coming through. And here we have a QSC K-Series monitor.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a monitor, it's a PA speaker, but they're great, these. You can use them in either way. You can use them on stands.
Great quality, really.
Yeah, they are. You can use them on with subs as well. And in this particular case, we're using them on monitors. So we've got one here for me, which is right next to my ear hole.
Yeah. I see that.
At 90 degrees to these mics, so the mics, because of cardioid, won't pick that up. They pick a little bit of it, not an awful lot. The only leakage you get from the kick drum in there is into that U47 at the back of the Leslie we talked before. So what else have we got? Right.
What about that bit there?
What bit? This?
Drums.
Yes, and this is Starlite. Now, again, our regular drummer, Steve Gibson, is not here. He's in England.
So guess who's doing the drumming?
We're in Portugal, so there's a little bit of...
Wow!
Yes, there's some toms on this, and Susie's doing the drums.
Yeah.
And
I love the sound of those sticks.
we chose rods.
Rods, yeah.
I'm not going to, I can't play drums, but these are the...
Listen to that.
Yeah, sound great.
Lovely.
Saki kit, fantastic. But the rods, we tried furry dongers at the beginning. You got to watch those.
I like those furry dongers though,
but
they're
they're a bit
cool.
too. Yeah, when you're trying to cut through an electric mix, they're a bit too muffly. Yeah, so we use these.
Just while we're here, I just want to show you my lovely Supertone matte amp. Just the bass. We just the Burgundy knows it's my.
I knew
my bass.
it would bass somewhere in this.
I don't know why.
There's no bass guitar on this. It's all me, baby. The bass is me.
It is. It's true, actually. But I just thought you needed to see that while we're there in my corner.
Okay, so let's get back to the drums, darling.
Yes, sir.
So we are using some Sennheiser MD421s on the toms here.
Yeah.
As industry standard, they just work. You point them at the drums, they sound great. And on the floor tom here, we're using an RE20, which sounds absolutely fantastic. They are pretty well tuned. They're still tuned from when Steve tuned them, because I can't tune drums, but they sound pretty good to me. So, you know, Steve is the master. And finally, the vocal mic. Now, we experimented with various vocal mics because in the studio, I tend to use perhaps an SM7 or the RE20, the Electrovoice RE20, this one in actual fact. But for Susie's voice in this particular instance, we've decided to use this Shure condenser mic, which is I can never remember it. It's the Beta 87A.
Yeah.
Which is the hypercardioid version. So the pickup pattern is very tight. And even, it does pick up from the back a little bit. That's why the monitor is to one side rather than right behind it, incidentally. Yeah. But it's very tight, so it actually doesn't take a lot of pickup from all the other racket that's going on.
La 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 la.
Yes, exactly. So,
yeah.
There we have it. So, all on this record is the bass pedals. We've got the Mighty Sequential Tempest, we've got some toms, and we've got the baritone guitar. So within the next 2 or 3 days from this video, it's going to be out. We're just going to release it on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. And I hope you enjoy it. We had a lot of fun doing it, and we've learnt a lot, haven't we, darling?
Yeah.
About doing this live thing in the studio.
And connecting the song in and just getting to the heartbeat of it as well, and getting to express it your way, I think has been quite an interesting process for us. Quite challenging and quite rewarding, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Yeah, and it's a really cool thing to do. But it's the learning that's got me, because we've really learned from this process. And what we have learned is that when you're using this amount of technology, you can't do it absolutely live, because if you try and do it absolutely live, you get fried. Your head is completely fucked because you're too busy thinking about everything rather than performing. And when you're recording it, you know, because it's not going straight out there, you sort of think to yourself, well, it doesn't matter. In actual fact, we managed to do it in about 2 takes, which is great, you know. So we rehearsed it quite a bit, and we did it in sort of 2 takes, and that was it. And it was only because I actually got my foot caught in these. And just talking about the bass, I forgot about this.
What?
Because, of course, here I am, I'm sat here, and I was messing around. So what I had to do, I had to take my shoes off. But we've decided on a better solution. If we do take these on the road, I'm going to have to wear cowboy boots or winkle pickers. Because the actual angle of them, I could actually point my feet, I should say, at the pedal, as opposed to having these great big clumping
things.
Yeah. So I've got quite wide feet. Anyway, okay, so that's it. That's from the Supertone Studio at the moment in Portugal. Hope everybody's cool, and we'll see you soon.